A major star has been injured ahead of WrestleMania and their future plans have been revealed. We have an update on Miro's AEW status, and WWE is interested in a recent AEW debut. Stay tuned for the news. So the headline, major star has been injured ahead of WrestleMania. Yeah. That's not a good thing. It's 4 weeks out.
No.
But on last night's SmackDown, if you've seen it, Ronda Rousey showed up to SmackDown last night in a sling and didn't wrestle as was scheduled. PW Torch has since revealed that she has recently aggravated a prior injury, and so WWE was forced to make changes to last night's advertised tag team match. So instead, what we got was like a fairly weird way to shoot a backstage brawl. Right. If I'm honest, it was Michael Cole there's a backstage brawl, there's something's happening backstage, and then we see Natalya and Ronda Rousey laid out while Shayna Baszler and Tegan Nox are still going at it, and then they fight in the ring to fight arm for an arm. It was a bit strange.
Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, don't you? We just got to really hope that this is, because I know a lot of people are kind of split on Ronda. A lot of people really don't like her, but it's an injury is not something you want to wish on anybody at the end of the day. And you've got to hope that it's just sort of, if it's just an aggravation, that it's not something that's going to re-trigger the injury, that it's just something that's going to require rest and relaxation, especially with Mania so close around the corner, and especially with the fact that, Ronda was looking to factor into Mania in some way.
Well, thankfully, the report from PW Torch also says that the injury isn't so severe that she'll miss WrestleMania, but she will have to just rest for the next few weeks, which might throw off some of the plans WWE has to build towards that match.
You've got to think, though, with the experience they've got, they'll find a means of getting Ronda out there with a mic, and if she can't get overly physical, at least initially, that there'll be a way around it. There's got to be a way it can be handled where it's not going to be quite as on the spot as this was.
She was ringside during the match last night, but in a sling, so she was able to still be on the show, but it looks like they're going to be very careful over the next few weeks so that she doesn't get a worse injury, because they seem to have big post-WrestleMania 39 plans for her. Wrestling News Co. is reporting that Ronda Rousey is pushing for her and Shayna Baszler to hold the Women's Tag Team Championships through the spring and summer. One source told Wrestling News Co. that Ronda is pushing for the tag titles. That's the match she wants, and whatever she wants, she gets. And people within WWE are under the impression that Rousey will have her wish granted, and her and Baszler will be the tag team champions following WrestleMania.
I don't think this is really surprising. It's something that's been on the rumor radar, I guess, for about 2 or 3 weeks now, right? It's sort of been slowly bubbling up with everything that's been happening with Ronda and Shayna on TV anyway. Again, I'm just going to reiterate my point. If this means we get Shayna Baszler back to the limb-destroying monster that she used to be, I'm all for it, because I feel like she's just been kind of just sort of put into situations when they need somebody, rather than, hey, this is Shayna Baszler, she can literally rip your limbs off and kick you into like the back of the crowd.
She's really, really good, and I feel like she got over really, really well in NXT, and it's just because the way they've used her on the main roster, she's not had that same love from the crowd and the way she wrestles.
It may be one of those things where it's like, she might not be as good on the mic as they maybe kind of want, but it's never stopped them before. Give her a mouthpiece, let her get out there and let her do it. Can you imagine Shayna and Heyman, man?
I was about to say, like, post-WrestleMania, hypothetically speaking, Roman Reigns maybe goes off, has a few months where he's dominating Hollywood, I don't know, and then Paul Heyman is just sitting there, got nothing to do.
Just leaning a little bit more into like the Don King side of it, just the managing a fighter. I
imagine that'd be class. But coming out of WrestleMania, potentially see her with the tag team titles. Of course, you discussed yesterday, I think it was, where we saw that Lita and Becky Lynch won the tag titles, and there's going to be some twists and turns on the way to WrestleMania. Yeah, they
promised twists and turns, and the reports we were looking at were suggesting maybe the titles would get dropped again. Maybe there'd be a heel turn involving Trish and Lita that kind of takes them out of that equation and puts them into a singles or a different tag match. So there's kind of a lot in and around this, so it's got to kind of clarify itself a bit, I guess, over the next 3 or 4 weeks. We've got to wait and
see how it plays out, but it's exciting that WWE is actually paying attention and interest in the women's tag division at the moment,
it is.
Which is
surprising
feeling.
They
seem to be quite high on the division at the moment. And another report is saying that WWE is also quite high on a Raw and SmackDown star. What does the report say, Sam?
So this is from WRKD Wrestling on Twitter, but they're reporting that WWE have gained more and more faith in Dominic Mysterio in recent months, and that the plan going forward is to use him on both Raw and SmackDown going into WrestleMania, and to have him wrestle Rey Mysterio at the show in a singles match. Now, yesterday, me and Andrew reported that it was from Dominic's sit down with Inside the Ropes, our friends over at Inside the Ropes, and he was kind of hinting at the fact that, I'm going to be there, ringside for Mammy, but Rey's kind of hinted that he's the only Mysterio that matters, and Rey's a bit too scared to get in there with him. So I need to see this, hook it to my veins. And Dominic's just come on leaps and bounds, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's crazy that just turning him heel and putting him with the Judgment Day has worked wonders.
Give him the
for
gentle mullet and boom.
And it's crazy. Like he's got over on being Prison Mike.
Yeah.
And he's gone to jail for like 2 days.
Yeah.
He's done hard time.
He got put in a cell for a night, and now he's just different, man.
He's different. He's changed.
You do this to most wrestlers. Just put them all in a cell.
Chuck them in jail for a night and they'll come out over. But he's been one of the most entertaining things on WWE the past few months. I'm not surprised WWE has got more faith in him. He's someone who has got lots of potential.
He has an incredible future ahead of him.
Exactly.
Like he's still ridiculously young. It's sickening.
I like the fact that, he's 25, I want to say, and it's crazy. He's got such a future ahead of him, and it's so nice to see him improve from where he was 2 years ago, where people were like, oh God, Dominic.
And we've got all of the kind of hints and rumors that maybe Vicky Guerrero's contract's going to be up at AEW soon, and you've got to think they would bring Vicky into this in some way.
He's got the mullet like Eddie.
Yeah, I kind of want to see Vicky in and around it.
He's doing the shimmer.
Just a little bit. Not an extra, just a little return of Vicky.
I'm excited to see what Rey and Dominic do at WrestleMania should that match go ahead, which seems to be the plan. We'll look forward to that one. We're moving over though to The Rock, who's not going to be at WrestleMania.
No, but he will be in Tinseltown coming up.
He is, yeah. Well, according to Deadline, The Rock may be set to appear at the Academy Awards. So it's going to be the Oscars.
Yeah, in a host capacity, kinda.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. He's going to be presenting one of the 23 awards on offer, which we know it can't be the Best Actor or Best Actress because they get presented by the person who won it the previous year.
And I think the people that have announced, they've already announced 2 people for Best Supporting Actor and Best Supporting Actress. So I think that takes 4 out of the equation. But I mean, it's The Rock. They could give him anything, and it would be captivating.
Exactly. I mean, he'll definitely be trying to shill Black Adam. You can buy it on Blu-ray. You can watch it.
He just comes out in the suit. He actually floats down, and it turns out he does have superpowers.
But you'll see him at the Oscars, and it seems like the hierarchy of the Oscars is about to change because he's going to be there. It's
he just lays the SmackDown on the winner and walks off with the trophy.
That's how you do about it. The eyebrow gets raised, and then he leaves with Best Actor. Classic WWE storylines.
Maybe we can get a rendition of Pie.
Yeah. American Pie for sure. That's how you end every wrestling thing. So there we go. But we do have an update also on Miro in AEW. A report from Fightful Select has given an update on him, saying that there's been little movement basically on his return to the company or return to TV. The reports that Miro and AEW are believed to have met after the reports of Miro rejecting creative plans emerged, which was last year. Miro has only wrestled, by the way, 4 times in 2022.
Yeah.
His last match took place at All Out where he teamed with Sting and Darby Allin. And it's crazy that he is off TV.
Especially like the excitement around him signing. I just couldn't forget like the kind of the hype leading into that and the momentum that seemed to be on his side. And it's just, I guess, it's part of that issue with, I guess, quite a lot of companies with bigger rosters must have to deal with where, not everybody's going to be on TV because there's not enough time for it. But when you've got somebody like Miro, you've got to think that there'd be some creative plans you could factor in there that he's going to be happy with and that would get him out there more because people want to see him wrestle, man.
People want to see him, and he was one of the most over acts in 2021. He had that run as God's favorite champion where he was the D&D champ, and people were really behind him.
Like whole new look going on,
and he's one of those talents that no matter what he does, apart from maybe the best man gimmick, he gets over, and he gets over naturally with the crowd. The crowd seem to really, really like him, and it seems to be a case of even if he's a heel, people just love him.
Yeah.
And he's a good lad.
Yeah, he's
Rusev Day,
he's
Miro Day.
unhateable.
You know, he is unhateable. And hopefully we see him back on TV. But yeah, Five Select reporting that there's been little movement in that department.
Yeah.
So maybe wait for one of Tony Khan's major announcements, because he's got one coming up soon. And he took to Twitter last night to reveal that he has more, well, quote unquote, more major announcements coming soon.
Due to budget cuts, AEW.
But not only that, is he hyped it up again, and he says it's important to AEW and its fans. Why more major announcements, Tony?
So I think he recently made an announcement about, was it AEW All Access?
Yep.
It could be more ancillary content. It could be, there's a lot of potential things business wise, because AEW's, people want like that network. They want, there's kind of a lot of tie-ins. It could be a signing. It could be anything. It could be the game. It could there's so many things.
Now, funny you mentioned the game there, when he mentions a massive stadium show in London, maybe, or Newcastle, England. Oh, that'd be lovely.
Wembley.
Tony.
He runs every stadium in London in one night. Like Mania 3 all over
One
again.
match in each location.
Sorry, Mania 2
Mania
all over
2,
again.
Yeah. Well, the way you mentioned the game there, though, that does make me think it's possibly that. He mentions it's important to AEW and its fans, so that would sort of line up with that. The game is rumoured to be delayed at numerous points.
We have a new T-shirt.
Oh, see if it is just... By the way, guys, you can buy your official Tony Khan merch at shop.aw, all that sort of stuff.
We have an AEW ECW throwback logo shirt available now.
It's going to be
That's when you've made it.
Yeah, well... You mentioned AEW All Access. We also got confirmation on when that is debuting. It's going to debut Wednesday, March 29th, which also gives us confirmation when Adam Cole is getting back in the ring. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to end on this now, because WWE is interested in a recent AEW debut.
Surprise.
Yeah, not surprisingly. Oh my God, he was impressive.
Yes, very much so.
We're, of course, talking about Commander. According to the Wrestling Observer, WWE is interested in signing him, and he recently made his debut this past Wednesday in the face of the Revolution.
Literally. He's just got backstage right now, pretty much.
Yeah, the match hadn't even finished. The WWE was busy making phone calls.
Jerry McDevitt's just in a car with a load of contracts.
Well, the report comes from Wrestling Observer, and they state that Commander is very much on WWE's radar, and suggesting that WWE was keeping tabs on the 24-year-old prior to his AEW debut. And it's very disgusting that he's only 24 years old, same age as me, and I don't like that.
No,
'cause I'm like, oh my God, he can do flips and I can't.
It's like when I've passed my physical peak.
Yeah. Well, Commander's not past it, and maybe he'll sign with WWE, maybe he'll sign with AEW, but he is currently under contract with KAOZ in Mexico, and won't be able to sign with WWE or AEW.
Or is it Chaos?
Chaos. Sam's got it there. And he won't be able to sign with WWE or AEW unless he gets explicit approval from Chaos.
There's apparently a few more talents because kind of Conan, I believe, is involved with this Chaos promotion.
Yep.
And it's all kind of tied to AAA anyway.
Yep.
But I think he got them to get them under contract, and there was a fair few names that he was like, bigger companies are going to come in and grab these names, and you're not going to be able to use them anymore. Yeah. So he kind of smartly got them to kind of get talent on contract.
It'll be interesting to see what they do in future, because Commander, oh my God, was he nice and good at the wrestles.
I feel like while WWE would love to have him, I feel that there's just too much of when you kind of look into the Conan side of things with it and the chain up, you've got Chaos, AAA, AEW. It feels like you could just add Chaos to that AAA AEW relationship, and then there's kind of a free reign between all three companies then, right? It doesn't mean you're limited to one. So, well,
keep an eye on him. I'm sure he's got a bright future ahead of him, but we've got a bright day ahead of us. We'll have more news coming later on today. Anything else you want to plug? Oh, it's Revolution weekend.
It's Revolution weekend. So all of the content happening this weekend. Tonight you've got Adam and tomorrow night. Sorry, tomorrow night. I'm too used to Saturday pay-per-views now.
Right.
Tomorrow night you've got Adam and Andrew on the live reactions. You'll of course have what happened at. You'll have WTF. You'll have everything in and around the show. There'll be news. There'll be excitement. There'll be big things happening at Revolution.
Oh yes.
So just sit here.
Don't move.
You watch all of our content, and then the day after you can watch Revolution. But if you just if you watch along, you'll know what kind of happens. Yeah, just
all right.
Give us your views.
Have a good Saturday. We'll see you later.
See you in a bit.